Hey there, Ron. Welcome to this week's edition of Bulls versus Bears. Depending on, it's been a bit of a week of, you could be a bull and a bear this week and be right in the same day. But yes, episode 102, Tiring of Trump's Taco. And I really got to say, I like volatility, Kai. I'm an
Yes,
ex futures trader, but it's the 23rd of January. If he keeps this pace up, he's going to kill me this year.
mate. He
So,
he uh, he definitely brings a bit of interest back in the markets, doesn't it? It's that uncertainty factor of what he's going to do next.
um, and like the worst thing is like because he's gone and kidnapped the president and the president's wife of a sovereign nation, which no one's
Mm,
done since like the Second World War. Everyone was like, "Oh, maybe he's actually serious about Greenland," and everyone's on tender hooks. And then he just like that's actually was just one of the worst tacos ever. And I think he literally used like he just turns up to Davos and he turns up late, which is just reeks of like turn up late to be cool. Um, and then just immediately announced, nah, we've agreed a framework. So and I love this phrase, agreed a framework, because remember how China and the US agreed a tariff framework 9 months
mm.
ago and nothing has happened? So, but he just knows the media cycle so well that if we know that no one's going to go and check up on his homework, and even if they do, no one's going to care because he'll just like kidnap freaking Colombia's finance minister or something,
He's a
so yeah.
showman. He knows what the people wants, and he'll give the people what he wants.
Yes, I mean, which awesome for a reality TV show producer and director. You know, he's the goddamn president of the United States. But viewers, you have to and listeners, you have to excuse me. I'm a little bit tired and cranky this week because it's all but we've had a very good run, and we've done some very good things. But when you have to completely pivot an investment thesis four times in 1 week. It's all like goes. It gets pretty exhausting overall. And then you got to keep up with what he's saying and blah blah blah. It's like and Davos has been on, and so yeah, she's been interesting. And then look at this, like pretty tame in the scheme of things. I think the Dow, the S&P, the Nasdaq were slightly down for the week, but recovered back and then the Russell is continuing its. I think it's quite an incredible weekly streak. One of the best since the 80s, I heard on Bloomberg. I may have heard incorrectly, but I don't think I did. Asian markets down. The Nikkei's been on an absolute tear. I don't really know why China's down, like, but because they actually got their 5% growth numbers, and the Aussie market, I don't know how it keeps finding new ways to disappoint, but it does. But we get all these wins in the gold and silver and mining sector, and then the banks give it all back, or the tech sector gives it all back, or whatever. So yeah, but I mean, look, mate, what do we care? Because we're just absolutely
Yeah,
long to the eyeballs in gold, silver, gold, silver, platinum, gold miners, and everything. So,
just keep
AI.
keep keep doing it until it fails, right? Like if it's working, why stop it?
Well, yeah. So, and I don't know, yeah, that's just the incorrect market map, but I mean, it does the job here basically. But this is the week here. So, Broadcom down and Apple as well, Palantir and but basically any of this green was all like last night and the night before. Intel got absolutely smoked, 9%. But we've spoken about how Intel's, it's like your simple cousin of the chip sector. And the only reason it probably still exists is because of the US bailout. But this was much more red earlier in the week, overall, um, and yeah, but Tesla, I must first non-supervised, non-monitored, completely on its own cybercab launched in Austin, Texas yesterday or last night. So unmonitored, which it's like it's Skynet that's happening. There's unmonitored cybercabs driving around looking for rides right now in Austin, Texas. So, and if that proves to be a success, I dare say that's going to roll out pretty quick. So it was up 4% last night. Aussie market, I mean, Fortescue down. I mean, yeah, basically tech sector. Don't know why getting smashed. Gold, silver, South 32, which has been due for a win. We didn't buy it mainly because we just had a few better choices, I suppose, or we didn't want to allocate more to the metals, but that's been cheap for a while now. It's got all of those fringe metals and things, but
what about the tech basket with it? Because I remember we were talking about it this week, where basically Aussie tech stocks, it's they're on sale, right? Because you got the big couple of one stock really did change today, the one that we
Life
both don't get.
360.
Yeah,
That's a perfect example of so you've got. I don't know why technology one's down as much, but like Zero and WiseTech are down nearly 55%. REA is getting smoked.
it's crazy.
360 was down like 60 odd percent, and then it's just gone boom straight back up because it had some news, but none of it's been fundamental. Like no, because there's been no news, there's been no earnings. So we did what's called an enhanced growth tech basket this week with WiseTech and Zero. So basically, you had to put down I think it was $14,000 to get $100,000 exposure in WiseTech and Zero, and then you're marked by whichever one's rallied the least in 12 months' time. And you can't lose, and your downside's capped as well. So you can only lose that 13 odd percent maximum. But you get all of the upside for putting down very little capital at this stage. So,
well, it's like on the capital that you actually spend. So if you put out 13 grand, it's like 10 or what was it? There's like 8 times leverage. So if it goes up 8%, you're up 80% on the amount that you invested.
Yeah, exactly. And then you've got 85 grand cash to go shopping if the market does get hammered. Which with the way things are going. This 23rd of January, with what we've had, Iran's currency fall apart, Trump spying Greenland, Venezuela's been taken over. Like we're 3 weeks in, man. So there's probably going to be some volatility, but these guys are just really harshly done by. So we did that a couple of days ago, and I've got a couple of examples. I'm just going to go forward a bit here. So we did this in gold and silver. So everyone knows we wanted to be long precious metals or store of value, right? So normally gold goes first, then silver, and then platinum. And normally, the spot price will go first, and then the miners will catch up. So this is an example of what we did in gold and silver. So, and our clients have they've only ever had to put down 10 grand for 100 grand exposure. So instead of going and buying Newmont or spending $100,000 on Newmont or Northern Star, you put down 10K, you've got 90K you can go and spend on something else. And we went with just the spot price in the first year. So gold and silver spot prices, 10K down, 100K exposure. So the clients got back about, I think, $41,000 for the 10K they put down. So 313. But we started it. This one here. So September, we bought the next one because it was a 12-month deal where it was 12,700 for 100,000 exposure. But this time we did gold miners because we thought, well, look, gold miners were lagging heavily behind the gold price because everyone's just trying to buy the physical. And then just like that was. Three. So we what they call lifted a leg. So we were doubled up there for about 3 weeks. And we took off half of that last night. And when we've only had it on for 4.5 months or 4 months. So half of it for 370% because the gold miners actually have outperformed by 22%. Than the gold price. If we just had the gold, if we just rolled this one here, we would have just had we'd only be up about 120. And and like I said again, you haven't put much capital down, and look, phase 3 really is silver's about $10 from being the second best rally in history in such a short period of time. And then platinum's lagging, and the gold to platinum ratio is sitting in the doldrums, which meaning that platinum will catch up. So then we're putting, the half that we took off in profit into this one. It's a little bit. It actually wasn't 18K. It was only 14,000. We got better pricing, but and so essentially, 10 grand's now become more like $80,000 out of that, and it was just, simple tweaks here and there, being capital efficient, blah, blah, blah. And then, your other 90 grand, your other 80 to 90 grand, you can go and put into fixed coupons. You can put it in the bank at 4%. You can put it in a term deposit. Go for your life. But, same view, but just a smarter way of doing it. You can do it on indexes as well. It's 20 grand for S&P instead of going and buying an ETF and spending money on brokerage and blah, blah, blah. So it's not just gold and silver you can do this on. And it probably will never get, we're joking in the office, this will be probably one of our better trades for, the next 5 to 10 years because we've managed to get it right, time it right, and be leveraged. So, and that really ever happens.
I think it's more the timing aspect that was really surprising, right? Because, it's a 2-year product, but oh my God, since September.
Oh no, these ones are only 12 months. The 2-year product was the silver platinum.
Yeah.
And I'm not, I'm almost, we're up like 600% on that. But I didn't put that one up there because I'm trying to be mildly humble. It's not really working. Basically it's been a great run. And but metals rallies tend to be 2 years of frantic nature and then 12 years of hibernation, right? So but if you can manage to get on one of them, and then like I said, and what we've done in the tech basket is that's got 12 months to play out. You've only put down 13 grand. It's not 100 grand. You just put your head in the sand for a bit. Check back in 12 months. Go and enjoy yourself. Live off some of the income from the 85 grand you've saved. So there's more than one way to skin a cat, basically. It's. And once people get their head around it, they're pretty comfortable. But what you just start people small, right? You can do half allocations and stuff like that. So pretty happy week. Gold, silver, platinum, copper is I think hovering, but I think it's building up some steam. But I mean, even if Trump's flip-flopping back and forth, it's kind of uncertainty on both sides. So it's a bit of a perfect storm for precious metals, right?
No, I think it's definitely a bit of uncertainty, right? He's targeted this week, but next week's a new week. You don't know what he's going to come up with. But I think the biggest thing that we talked about last week as well, it's it's broken the trust, right? It wasn't ambiguous before Trump came in across basically 80 years. It's okay, if NATO's under attack, US will come to help. There's a question mark now. Trump can walk back all he wants, say, okay, we're not doing tariffs or whatever, but there's a question mark, right? And that question mark is powerful because the Europeans go, well, if really push comes to shove, are you coming or not?
Yeah.
I know.
And I mean, it's just so, I had to, obviously last week we had to learn a lot about Greenland. And the week before, we had to learn a lot about Venezuela. So my brain hurts. So, we're having to, it's pretty hard to stay covered. But, basically the risks are piling up. While that one's out of and I'm keeping this list on the daily podcast as well, because I think when Trump just keeps announcing things time and time and time again, and it's almost impossible to keep track. So I'm just keeping this little ledger where so Japanese bond yields just keep skyrocketing, which could mean that the Japanese start to bring money home, which is what they call the yen carry trade, and that could very much pull the rug from and did back in August 2024 pull the rug from equities. Whether it's going to, so this is just like things that are definitely going on in the background that normally the market will react to if they could focus on it, but because he just blitzkriegs us with a new announcement every 2 seconds. So Venezuela's not solved, although he's taken 50 million barrels of oil off them straight away. It's not in 10 days, this government shutdown vote. It'll be next Friday. So everyone's forgotten about the government shutdown. So all they did was kick that down the road. Because the air traffic controllers weren't coming to work and there would have been riots in the street if people couldn't get home for Thanksgiving. So they resolved nothing and said, we'll just re-adjourn on the 31st. So there could be a government shutdown like next week. But no one's talked about it. Fed chairman and your president having a spat, also unheard of. And then they still actually haven't decided whether Trump has the legal power to even put tariffs in. Although he's been collecting them, so it will be a categorical disaster if they reverse that. But it has to be passed by Congress. It's not. He's used a very niche wartime law with executive power. It's not so they're deciding whether technically he was able to do it or not. And then the firing of Fed. So he's basically the Supreme Court's having to decide on a bunch of things where he's just overstretched his power. So yeah, there's still a lot of things up in the air, right? So. And hopefully we get to cross these off and there's no disaster. But
you forgot the ICE agents in the US as well as
but look, yeah, I mean that's obviously that's horrible. I'm more talking economics and rather than. But yeah, I mean
too long to keep track of, isn't it?
But I mean, if I did everything, that list is going to be like. It's gonna be every slide basically, and we've got earnings, and albeit that it's Australia Day on Monday, there's not too much on Monday. It's fine, but like we've got some big companies next week. United Health, is it going to continue to recover? And then 3 massive defence names. Starbucks, well, that's an in-house one. Starbucks, go Starbucks. We need you to rally at least 3%. Microsoft, Tesla on Wednesday. Apple, Caterpillar's always pretty interesting as well. And then all the oil companies at the end of the week, plus the FOMC meeting, plus our CPI. So hopefully Trump just keeps his trap shut next week because I don't think we can do. Like we'll have to get like. We're going to need one of those Tesla Optimists to help us keep up or something like that. Hire.
Yeah. Boeing's been doing pretty well actually, mainly because they got the contract for the next gen fighter jets. It's pretty interesting. So sixth generation, the program that basically the US Defense Department delayed. But they're fast tracking it because the Chinese have actually shown prototypes last year. So basically, Trump's gone like, okay, well, we can't let the Chinese do it first. We got to this, and so Boeing's going full speed ahead. I know in the commercial airline sector, they haven't been doing really well, but yeah, in that defense sector, they've actually been doing quite well.
Look, I mean, it's. Yeah, like I said, RTX, I sort of keep up with quite a bit. Northrop Grumman's really doesn't have enough European. So RTX it's American, but it's got more European exposure, which is kind of what I've been following.
RTX is really great because they own Pratt Whitney, which is the company that produces the F-22 engines. So basically, the Raptor, I mean, it's the most advanced jet at the moment. They own the company that produces the engines for that, so that's why RTX is pretty. Yeah, I mean they're pretty big in space. So
Yeah, and they, like I said, things like Caterpillar as well. I mean, they're always regarded as a bit of an economic bellwether. Um, and look, I mean, who knows with Apple? The last thing I could be bothered looking up is iPhone sales. To be honest, I don't even know whether I'll bother covering that in the morning report. This Thursday morning. But Microsoft and Tesla might be different because Microsoft being one of the monetizers. The oil companies, like, I don't know. I don't know whether backwards-looking reporting is going to be of any help if they're all pinching oil from Venezuela. Um, I don't know whether the market's going to focus on that too much. But like I say, very interesting week because that inflation number in Australia, if it's high, all of a sudden the media is going to be whipping up a frenzy about rate hikes again. And then the FOMC is expected not to cut, and then PPI on the Friday, and we've got PCE tonight, but it's a final revision, so I don't think it's going to do much, which is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. But yeah, I mean, look, it's like I said, we're 23rd, and then we're walking into a massive week of earnings next week, and then there'll be like Google and God knows what next week, or the rest of the Mag 7. Netflix didn't start the week well, down 7 or 8% on their earnings. They've bounced back a little bit, but soft outlook essentially. But they were probably a little bit unlucky that they gave earnings out at the height of Trump threatening Denmark and Europe and stuff. So I don't think it was as much to do with them as it was to do with that. Yeah, busy, man. And yeah, look, if you want to keep up, get Mosaic. Just ask the guy that wrote it and then built it, Mr. Kai Chen. You can still get your free trial, actually, only in January. So yeah, you've got about you got 8 days to get your 1 month free trial, and you get all 4 of our recommendation services and everything else. We're as you can probably tell, we're pretty exhausted. So this is going to be a short one this week. We were going to do some stats on how much Trump tacos and how much he chickens out on a percentage basis, but to be brutally honest, JT's off on his boat, and poor old man Kai have not had anywhere near enough time. So I think he did update the scorecard, but that's probably because he's in the lead. It'll be because the S&P was actually down 0.5%. So JT remains in the lead, and you and me are stranded on 2.
oh no, it's been. If he didn't come out, I mean, at Davos, it would have been a pretty frightening week. But obviously tacoed. What do you think of the next week?
Oh, mate. I don't look. I can't be in that list of risks. I just don't unless I think that people are massively underestimating the fact that this government shutdown is going to become an issue again. We sort of only just it's people are going to get pretty frustrated, I would say, and then the midterms are coming. I don't know. I can't. I'm not bearish. I got to say I'm super cautious. Like I don't. It wouldn't surprise me if it's up, but gun to my head, I wouldn't necessarily be short because God knows what's going to happen. But we are at pretty high valuations. I think earnings is going to be a catastrophe because I don't think these guys are going to. They'll beat, but they're still overvalued, and that I think potentially could break the straw that breaks the camel's back. So, I'm gonna be bearish, and I don't normally like being too bearish on earnings because I've learnt my lesson. It's never bearish. But I just it just seems to me that I you just can't keep, and bond yields keep going up. Like there's so many things wrong. It's just I can't be bullish here. I cannot be bullish. So I will be. Yeah, that was the most long-winded answer in the world. Apologies, but yeah, yeah, it's too many risks. What
Yeah,
about you?
I'm a bit bullish next week actually. Well, the market's got to have a bit of a run. It's had a bit of relief. It's sorted out all the it's great. As not great of a fall as you'd expect from some of the announcements.
Mm.
I mean, like what even at max drawdown from the highs, it was like what, like 3-4%, like so basically nothing in the
Yeah, I
scheme
mean,
of things.
from a price action standpoint, you can
Yeah,
go, well, that's pretty solid. But also, where my head's at is like, how?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Sad,
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, I just but
Don't
shout
know.
out to Shane Davis out there. Is like everything seems to be bullish these days. It's just it's like we're invading a country, bullish. Oh, we're not invading a country. Oh, bullish. Um, yeah, I get it. I get it. And you're probably going to be right, and I'm probably going to go to last place. But yeah, and I don't know whether JT gets a vote this week. Maybe he'll just overrule him, and then at least one of us will catch up next week. Fair and greed's neutral. But yeah, yeah, I'm pretty happy to if it my if it was my personal portfolio, I'd be in capital protected stuff or 30-40%. I'd be happy to buy some Aussie tech at these levels and just start dipping my toe in the water. And we just start scaling out a little bit in some of these things. In the maybe then taking some profits in the precious metals, but yeah, I've never started a year at this breakneck speed. So yeah, maybe my brain's failing me at this point in time. Yeah, and it's funny to hear like so there's a lot of people going, oh well, the precious metal rally can't last. And then what that started like a year and a half ago, and we
Mm.
were talking to people about platinum today, and they're like, precious metals have already gone too hard. I was like, that platinum hasn't. No, it kind of hasn't really started. Hasn't really started yet. Like it can equal the same price as gold, and there's so like and sometimes during history, in recent history, has been priced more than gold, and it's about half at the moment. So you did a great platinum
Mm.
the gold platinum ratio today, and it's like platinum's if gold stays anywhere near here, platinum's cheap for 50%.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, we'll might just stick to those simple trades for the minute, and go from there. But so apologies everyone for the short one. We're just tucking out this week. Trump's got us. But yeah, we promise we'll come back with a bit more of the that focus story next week. Yeah, we'll and get yourself your Mosaic free trial, and you'll get all of our content anyway. Kai, thank you very much. Thanks for
Thank
sticking
you.
around at this
Yes.
time. It's a late record for us. So yeah, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Cool.
General advice warning. The content presented in this presentation is intended for informational purposes only and provides general advice only. It does not take into account your personal objectives, financial situation, or specific needs. This information should not be the sole resource when making investment decisions. We strongly recommend you seek the advice of a financial professional.